Going into week 2, there were a couple teams that we had our eyes on. Obviously, the Washington Commanders were a team that, with Carson Wentz, they look pretty dangerous. But the Detroit Lions taking the Philadelphia Eagles, by a 3, almost beating the Philadelphia Eagles there in week 1, and then coming back in week 2. Two teams you were excited about the matchup, and it absolutely did not disappoint both these teams. Obviously, it was interesting, and we're going to talk about it today in our latest edition of Standouts and FIZZOUts because everybody's got their own edition of winners and losers, risers and fallers. Ours is standouts and fizzouts because players that stood out, and fizzouts because pop or soda, whatever you guys want to call it. But at the end of the day, also let us know what you guys drink. Is it Pope, Coke? I was trying to say Coke and Pepsi, but then it somehow became Pope. Anyway, let us know what you guys drink, whether it's Coke, Pepsi, Mountain Dew, whatever it is. Let us know what you guys think that you'd love to put on ice. But overall, I think that in this game, it was very interesting. Both these teams, honestly, I don't want to say they're underrated quarterbacks, but quarterbacks nonetheless that I think definitely deserved a lot of credit for, from which they've came. But you got to be honest here. When we talk about standouts and fizzouts, we got a lot of things to talk about. So we're going to start it off with, if you don't have Amon-Ra St. Brown as your biggest standout in this game, I don't know what game you were watching, because this man, just from his big run to the couple of touchdowns to, just the record-setting day he had, just phenomenal. A guy, I knew he was special. I called it. I knew he was special coming out of USC. You guys can check out some of our other Lions podcasts. But, I just felt like he was going to be a player that, and we've talked about it with Jeremiah Davis, who's come on the show and talked about, hey, there is a lot going on with this Lions squad in terms of the offensive line. They're always able to put out good wide receivers and able to do a lot of great things there. But Amon-Ra St. Brown really showed me that he's on another level, and I think he's going to have a big year this year, and I'm really excited about it. Now, you can't have him as a major winner if you don't have Jared Goff as a major winner as well. So you got Jared Goff there, who went 20 of 34 for 256 yards and 4 touchdowns. Like, it was just, it was lovely. It was absolutely lovely. Like, that's the thing about Jared Goff. I don't put him on the same level as Patrick Mahomes or that, but I mean, is he comparable to Kirk Cousins? I wouldn't say not. I wouldn't say no necessarily. Is he comparable to a lot of the other quarterbacks, or at least average? I would say so. We forget he brought the Rams to a Super Bowl a couple of years ago, and he's been a very respectable quarterback since. And last year, a lot of people I know, when he went to the Lions, they were saying, it was the whole, what can he do to lead this team? Listen, the Lions didn't have a lot of help last year, and this year their offensive line, even though it's pretty much the same, like their offensive line is still very good. Their wide receiving core, DJ Chark, was a new addition, but obviously Amon-Ra St. Brown was a big reason as to why him taking a big leap in year 2 is a big reason why this offense is going to continue to get better. Also, you had a guy like Josh Reynolds that, he played pretty well. 3 catches, 38 yards, and a touchdown. DeAndre Swift, you want to talk about players, man. DeAndre Swift completely falling down on that screen pass, and then finally and getting up and scoring a touchdown. That was just great. Another standout, it's the Lions' future. You got all these young players. Aiden Hutchinson, who we'll get into in a second, he had 3 sacks, but he was, this entire Lions future is very bright. Jared Goff, I think that he could be maybe the quarterback. Like, I don't know if, if you can get him a good defense, or if you have a better option in the draft. We'll see. But overall, I think you can build around Jared Goff. I think you can build around Amon-Ra St. Brown here. That good offensive line, that defense that's getting better. So there was a lot of good things. This Lion future is definitely looking up for this Detroit Lions squad. Aiden Hutchinson, who we just touched on a second ago, had 3 sacks in this matchup. You really liked what you saw from him, just going around, flying around, making plays. And honestly, I got to be honest, I felt like he was a player that when you first saw him, you were kind of wondering, okay, kind of a one-year wonder-ish there at Michigan, and I was kind of hoping that he was going to, I was wondering if he's going to go number 1, but obviously the Jags took Travon Walker, which I don't think they're regretting. But, I felt like Aiden Hutchinson was one of those guys that, kind of a one-year wonder, what could he do in the NFL? And, man, it's been absolutely incredible. Like I said, 3 sacks there, 6 total tackles against the Commanders, and I think he's just going to keep getting better. I think he was honestly that missing piece for what the Detroit Lions needed on that defensive line, and I'm really excited that he's going to do some major things for him. And honestly, we touched on DeAndre Swift. Charles Harris, definitely another standout, had that strip sack safety-ish, something like that. That really put the Lions in a really good spot there. And obviously, Khalif Raymond there also had that really nice return off that safety to put the Lions in good position. I believe it was for St. Brown's first touchdown, if I'm not mistaken. Dan Campbell, at the end there, that call to go just win it instead of, potentially, your defense was playing pretty well. You were in a position where that you could just go get a first down. Why not go to your guy there in Amon-Ra St. Brown and let him do his thing? I love the cojones from a guy like Dan Campbell. He is really turning around this team for the Detroit Lions. Also, William Harris, I can't talk today. Had that nice pick on Carson Wentz. It really was a great play, and that was honestly one of my few critiques on Carson Wentz. I mean, I got it was a little high, that pass, but overall he played a pretty good game. Also, Malcolm Rodriguez, a 6th round pick. I mean, this dude, he's a stud. I think he's going to fly around. I think if I remember correctly, yeah, he had 8 total tackles. So, he had a really good game for the Detroit Lions, and I really feel like this is going to be a really good squad moving forward. And now we jump over to the Commanders. Now, the first thing I have to say is the Commanders are actually a very respectable team. Carson Wentz, to me, played a very solid game. Like I said, the only play that I saw was that where it was a little high, but he went 30 of 46 for 337 yards, 3 touchdowns, only 1 interception. Antonio Gibson, I just wish the Commanders could run the ball a whole lot better. I mean, 14 carries, 28 yards for Antonio Gibson. That ain't going to get the job done. But the passing offense for the Commanders was very good. The first half was rough. I'll extend the olive branch, but overall, you are encouraged by what you see with the Washington Commanders in their ability to be able to come back from games. But Curtis Samuel, 7 catches, 78 yards and a touchdown. Terry McLaurin had a lot of nice catches, 4 catches, 75 yards. Jahan Dotson added to that touchdown total. He's got 3 on the year, but he had 4 for 59 against the Detroit Lions. And then Logan Thomas caught that really nice pass from Carson Wentz for that 3, and he had 3 catches for 37 yards and a touchdown. So I really liked what I saw from them. Obviously Jahan Dotson, Carson Wentz, Curtis Samuel, all those guys are definitely standouts. But second half adjustments, definitely a standout for me. I felt like they did a really good job. When your team is down by that, you kind of think, okay, they're just going to pass the ball. And yes, to a degree, but also they were able to climb back into it. Now, again, I know it's the Detroit Lions, but the Detroit Lions showed that they could do some stuff. So I feel like this was a really good game for the Commanders to really show what they could do in the passing game, and I definitely think it showed overall. So another guy that I thought really stood out was Deron Payne. Had 4 total tackles, also had a sack. Also, James Smith-Williams also added a sack, as well as Jamin Davis. So, and then Derek Forrest ended the day with 10 tackles. So even though the Lions were able to run the ball pretty much at will, the run defense definitely a fizz out here for me to start out fizz outs on this note for the Washington Commanders. I got to be honest, I just really felt like they were in a position where they've got to be better in terms of stopping the run. You've got that defensive line that should be the best in the NFL, but it just wasn't like that against the run game. So, as far as standouts, also with Joey Sly, he's probably the biggest one here. You got to nail that PAT. Like that's a 2-score game. If you make that PAT, it's only a 1-score game. So you got to make that PAT if you're Joey Sly. But and also the secondary. You got carved up. You got absolutely carved up. And even if somebody had graded out a good according to PFF, I don't care. In football, when everybody has a bad day, or when Amon-Ra St. Brown goes for that many yards and has a couple of touchdowns, it's not good. It's nobody takes a win away from that one. Also, Samuel Cosmi. I'm eating crow a little bit here. I'm definitely eating crow. I felt like he was going to be a second-year rising star for the Washington Commanders. He looked really good in year 1, and now I think it's back-to-back games that he's allowed a sack as well. It was absolutely rough. But I do think moving forward that that you are in a good spot with him, but you do want to see what's going on with him. I don't know if he's playing injured. I don't know what's going on, but I really hope that they can figure it out. Now fizz outs for the Lions. That second half offense. Listen, I feel like you got to run the ball a lot better. If it weren't for Amon-Ra St. Brown, that long run in the second half, and I know that set up, like we talked about, DeAndre Swift's catch in that screen game for that touchdown, but overall, you got to be able to run the ball a lot better than that in the second half and seal off that win. Also, the defense for the Lions there in the second half. I get that, you are up by, 22-0. You got to salt away a lead with the running game, but that also extends to the defense too, because there's only so many positions, there's only so many things that the Commanders can do to be able to get back in the game, and that's throwing the football. Your defensive line has to get after it. Dan Campbell and company, I think they could have made some adjustments in terms of dialing up the blitz at times, but overall, I think a win is a win today. So I think that when you talk about standouts and fizzouts from both of these guys, great game overall. The Lions are legit, and the Washington Commanders are certainly nothing to shake a stick at. But let us know what you guys think. There we go. But let us know what you guys think. That's our newest edition of Standouts and Fizzouts. Standouts because players that stood out, and Fizzouts because pop, again, or soda, whatever you call it. Let us know what you guys drink, whether it is, no matter what, Mountain Dew, Pepsi, Pope. But let us know what you guys think about our latest edition of Standouts and FIZZOUts. Make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Leave a like and a comment. It helps people find the show. We greatly appreciate all the support that we've gotten and continue to get. You guys are all truly awesome. We love every single one of you. Down in the description below, you'll find all of our social media platforms. So give us a like and a follow there. Also, remember to give us a listen and sub on iTunes. And finally, if you have anything else you'd like us to cover, send us an email at thesportsbp@yahoo.com or put it in the comment section down below, and we would love to cover it. But let us know what you guys think about our Standouts and FIZZOUts from the Washington Commanders versus Detroit Lions matchup.